The Justice Department is opening a federal grand jury investigation of former Obama administration officials who allegedly conspired to whip up a scandal about President Trump's purported links to Russia during the 2016 election campaign, the Post has learned. Now, you may recall we initially broke this story on March 3rd, 2017, right behind this microphone and right on this program. I played that on Fox last week. I played the subsequent days when we were on Fox and Friends Sunday, and Pete Hegseth was interviewing me, and then the next day, our buddy Sean Hannity interviewed me. But we broke this story because I had pulled together all these news articles, and it was clear what was going on, obviously without the specifics, but I got close enough. The major legal development opens the door to criminal charges against prominent cabinet members who served then-President Obama, including former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, former CIA Director John Brennan, and former FBI Director James Comey. It's not immediately clear whether the grand jury would be based heavily in Democratic Washington, D.C. or elsewhere. I would encourage them not to have it in Washington, D.C. Strongly discourage them from doing that. Trump and Carrot DNI Tulsi Gabbard have called for a federal probe into the early days of the Russia collusion probe, dubbed Crossfire Hurricane, though the commander-in-chief himself has acknowledged his predecessor likely is immune from prosecution due to a 2024 Supreme Court ruling on the criminality of official presidential acts. I tell you, I don't understand this. Not because I don't understand the law. I don't understand this. And I hear these legal analysts say the same thing, and I hope the Department of Justice is a little bit more mindful of what the court actually ruled. They talked about the presumption of immunity, but there's not necessarily immunity depending on how this breaks out. And so as they conduct their investigation, I hope they don't leave behind Barack Obama. Barack Obama, even if that is their conclusion, and they ought to have a very open mind about it, still may have information that is critical to the criminal investigation, to the grand jury. So I heard one commentator say today, one of the reporters say, so they likely won't be interviewing them. What does that have to do with anything? Even if the Supreme Court does immunize him, and again, I say that's an open book, they still need to talk to him. They still need to talk to him to find out what other people and he discussed. So he better get in front of that grand jury, and he better be questioned. And if he doesn't want to get in front of the grand jury, he better be open to questions. I mean, Bill Clinton was open to questions while he was president of the United States by a grand jury. President Trump had to answer questions in writing, he and his lawyer. There is no way Obama should escape being investigated. None.
The opening of a federal grand jury investigation into Obama-era officials is a seismic development. Even years later, the ripples from Russiagate haven't settled. The possibility of charges for people like Clapper, Brennan, and Comey shows the demand for accountability runs deep. Legal debates over Obama's immunity capture a core tension. Power doesn't put anyone fully above the law. This is a moment to remember that justice isn't about who holds office, but whether the law applies equally to everyone.
Let's see here. I let 2016 Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton off the hook, Trump told Newsmax host Affinery on Friday, referring to the former Secretary of State's possession of classified information on a private home email server. I let her off the hook for what? And then I come in and they did the same to me. The difference is they actually meant it. They hurt a lot of people. And it was all a hoax, and it absolutely was a hoax. And now they have it black and white. No, I think they should pay a price, and so do I. An email released by Gabbard showed that Obama ordered an intelligence assessment that found Russia intervened to help Trump defeat Clinton. Even Gabbard said U.S. intercepts actually showed the Russians expected Clinton to win and held back damaging material on her for later release. And not only that, the assessment said the Russians, of course, were trying to influence the election, but it was having no effect at all. And that they did not try to help Trump. Brennan is believed to be under investigation for allegedly lying to Congress in May 2023 about ex-British spy Christopher Steele's dossier of salacious claims against Trump. All lies, all of it. Brennan told Congress in May 2023 that the CIA was very much opposed to having any reference or inclusion of the Steele dossier in a major intelligence action report. But records show he actually wrote at the time, "I believe that the information warrants inclusion in the Obama-ordered assessment." I think they got that guy dead to rights. That's why they're going to make sure it's not in Washington, D.C. Comey was interviewed in May by Secret Service after posting an image interpreted as threatening Trump, which of course it was, and was accused by Republicans of lying to Congress in 2017. Giving false testimony to Congress carries a penalty up to 5 years, but has a 5-year statute of limitations. Okay, so what? I can come up... You know what, Mr. Producer? I touched on this when I was on with Maria B. Bartiromo, who was fantastic too. And I said, you know, folks, you could look at federal campaign financing laws. They twisted that damn thing inside out like a pretzel and used it against Trump and his mortgages had absolutely nothing to do with federal campaign finance laws. But they said the fact that he made legal payments and entered into non-disclosure agreements demonstrated that he wanted to withhold negative information, and therefore it was an illegal expense. You know, they had all this weird stuff in mind. Well, let me tell you something. Everybody and anybody who spent any money or provided advice or know-how, an in-kind contribution to help the Hillary Clinton campaign using the lies about Russia and doing so knowingly, like lawyers, like advisors, like Hillary Clinton, then she would have been violating, and the others, federal campaign finance laws, right? Because they're promoting a lie to influence the election. And they're using money to do it that was never reported as a campaign donation. And others who didn't use money but were providing support, it's an in-kind contribution. So there's a lot of ways this can go. That's why I say statute of limitations. And so you do the investigation. You find out who knows what. You put them under oath for sure. You collect all the documentation. And by documentation, I mean a wide net, including electronic communication, telephonic communication, any kind of communication. You determine whether anything was destroyed, classified information, a violation of the Espionage Act, other information, a violation of the Presidential Records Act, which, you know, Jack Smith tried to criminalize. There's a lot here to investigate.
The tangled web of campaign finance allegations, non-disclosure deals, and selective investigations exposes a glaring double standard. Watching the rules bend or break for different political players erodes trust in the system. At some point, anyone following this has to ask, is impartial justice still possible, or has it become another tool for political warfare? This moment demands we face uncomfortable truths about power, influence, and the meaning of fairness in American life. If you value honest analysis and real conversations, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and share your thoughts in the comments. What did we miss, and what should we tackle next? Your voice makes this community stronger. Let's keep pushing for the truth together.